It's a free country, absolutely. Now, I put a suggestion into the Senate inquiry into corporate tax avoidance that the tax office organise a system for ex-tax officers like myself to volunteer their time free of charge to go in under secrecy provisions and access the AUSTRAC database of financial transactions within Australia and overseas, looking for potential issues of people not returning income that matches the level of fund transfers that are going on.
Interesting exercise, but let me give you one example. You're thinking about lower income earners and what more that they can contribute. Think about this, the way that the superannuation system works. Somebody in a very high income who have already put away at a concessional rate $2 million in superannuation can still salary sacrifice at a concessional rate.
I disagree with that completely.
Right, so we should be looking at both ends of the scale, particularly at the higher end of the scale.
Mate, before I started in the tax office 35 years ago, I owned a couple of rental properties, and I didn't think it was fair in a pre-CGT environment that I would get a discount, a tax deduction for my rental losses. So like a fool, I never claimed the rental losses because I didn't think it was fair. Once they brought in capital gains tax, I thought, okay, the playing field is levelled, and I started claiming my negative gearing losses. But of course, this only works, you've got to pay $1 to get 40 cents back. And I was living in Albury for most of that period, and there is very little capital gain on properties outside the capital cities. So I think there ought to be some recognition of the fact that the city people are doing it better in many cases than the country people.
There's some room for negative gearing, but somebody like me, right, I can buy a beach house.
Yes.
Rent it out for 10 months of the year.
Yes.
With not great prospects of making any money, right? I'm not going to make money on it, not because I've got such a big mortgage over it. So I can salary sacrifice against that.
Yes.
I make a benefit at that end, and I can negatively gear the beach house. Now, why? Why when I was going to buy that beach house anyway? That's not fair, and that you're saying, no, low-income earners should pay more. And yet they allow people on my salary to get away with that. Now, I do it because it's legal, it's available to me.
Look, maybe there is prospect provision for looking at personal circumstances to determine whether deductions should be allowed or not.
Yeah, means test.
But how? Well, indeed. I mean, luxury cars. I used to think it was a bit of a problem where your average businessman driving a Commodore was able to claim $10,000 a year deduction, let's say, from motor car expenses, but someone driving their Ferrari could claim $500,000 of deductions for one thing and another.
That's not right.
And they did bring in some caps on the luxury car claims that were allowed. So by all means, look at variations to the theme. But my overall view is that the people who are paying the most tax are legitimately allowed to feel concern that the people who aren't paying much at all get all of the running in the media and the complaints.